The German officer stands at the fence line, staring across fields that stretch farther than any landscape he remembers from home. His hands grip the wire, not to escape, to hold himself steady. 2 months ago, he called these people uncivilized. 2 months ago, he believed the war would end with German boots on British soil. 2 months ago, he knew that his side held all the cards, that Britain was a dying empire, gasping its last breath, that surrender was only a matter of time. Now he is begging to stay. What happened in those 60 days that breaks a man so completely he cannot imagine returning to the country he once fought for? The year is 1944. The war that Germany launched with such certainty has become something else entirely. Britain, bloodied but unbroken, has found its footing. The island that stood alone while Europe fell is now part of something larger, something coordinating, something methodical. Bombs that once fell on London now fall on Hamburg. U-boats that prowled the Atlantic unchallenged now sink in growing numbers. The Africa Corps, once invincible, surrendered in Tunisia. Italy, the ally Germany needed, has collapsed. The Wehrmacht is being pushed back on every front. Not routed, not yet, but pushed. And with every kilometre of retreat comes a new wave of prisoners. They arrive in Britain by the thousands. Officers and infantrymen, tank crews and pilots, men who believed they were part of a force that could not be stopped, now standing in processing lines on English soil, wearing the same uniforms, carrying the same contempt. Most of them still believe Germany will win. They have to. Because if Germany doesn't win, what were the last 5 years for? Hauptmann Friedrich Brenner steps off the transport truck at a camp in rural Yorkshire with his chin raised and his eyes cold. He is 32 years old, an officer, a veteran of Poland and France, a man who has seen German tanks roll through countries like they were made of paper. The British guards watch him carefully. They have seen this type before, the ones who think captivity is temporary, the ones who treat every order like an insult, the ones who scan the perimeter not with fear but with calculation. Brenner does not speak unless spoken to. When he does, his English is sharp, precise, laced with disdain. "Uncivilized," he mutters to another German officer during the first meal. "Look at this place. Look at how they live. The food is simple. The barracks are cold. The guards are farmers and clerks in ill-fitting uniforms, not the hardened soldiers Brenner expected. He sees weakness everywhere. He does not see what is coming. Britain's POW camps are not what Brenner imagined. There are no torture chambers, no starvation rations, no midnight beatings. Instead, there are rules, work details, inspections, routine. Under the Geneva Convention, prisoners of war can be put to labour, non-military labour, agriculture, construction, forestry. Britain, desperate for manpower as its young men fight overseas, needs every hand it can get. The prisoners are sent to farms. Brenner is assigned to a cattle ranch in the North York Moors, run by a man named Robert Ashford. 63 years old, weathered face, hands scarred from decades of work. His 2 sons are with the British Expeditionary Force in France. His daughter drives ambulances in London during the Blitz. He does not hate Germans. He simply needs help keeping his livestock alive. Brenner arrives at the ranch with 3 other prisoners, flanked by a single guard who looks barely old enough to shave. The first week, Brenner does not speak to Ashford. He works in silence. Mends fences, hauls feed, cleans stalls. He performs every task with mechanical precision, his face a mask of contempt. At night, in the small outbuilding where the prisoners sleep, he tells the others, "We are slaves to these people, barbaric, beneath us." The others nod, but they are also exhausted, and the work, while hard, is not cruel. And the food, while plain, is more than they had in the final months before capture. It begins with a cow. One of Ashford's heifers is struggling to give birth. It is late at night. The guard has fallen asleep. Ashford is in the barn alone, working by lamplight, trying to help the animal. He is not young anymore. His hands shake. Brenner, unable to sleep, hears the sounds from the barn. The low, agonized groaning of the cow. The old man's muttered curses. Something makes him get up. He does not know what. He walks to the barn. Ashford looks up, startled. For a moment, the two men stare at each other across the dim space. "The calf is breached," Ashford says finally. His voice is tired. Not hostile, just tired. Brenner hesitates. Then he steps forward. He grew up on a farm in Bavaria. Before the war, before the uniforms and the marching and the certainty, his hands remember. Together, they work in silence. It takes an hour. The cow's breathing grows laboured. Ashford's strength is fading. Brenner takes over. He does not think about the war. He does not think about Britain or Germany or victory or defeat. He thinks about the animal in front of him and the life struggling to be born. When the calf finally slips free, wet and trembling, Ashford lets out a long breath. "Thank you," he says quietly. Brenner does not respond. He walks back to the outbuilding, his hands covered in blood and birth fluid, and lies awake until dawn. After that night, something changes. Not dramatically, not obviously, but it changes. Ashford begins to ask Brenner's opinion on things. Small things. Whether a fence needs replacing. How much feed the cattle need. Where to move the herd for better grazing. Brenner answers. The other prisoners notice. One of them, a younger man, still clinging to his contempt, mutters about collaboration, about betrayal. Brenner ignores him. He is beginning to understand something that terrifies him more than any battle he fought. These people are not barbaric. They are not weak. They are simply people. Ashford's daughter visits once. She is 26, thin, hollow-eyed from months of driving through burning streets to pull bodies from rubble. She does not speak to the German prisoners. But Brenner sees her standing in the yard, staring at nothing, and he recognizes the look. He has seen it on the faces of soldiers, the ones who have been pushed too far, who have seen too much, who keep going only because stopping means collapsing. Britain is not losing. Britain is enduring. And endurance, Brenner realizes with creeping horror, is a kind of strength Germany never accounted for. In November, letters from Germany reach the camp. They are censored. Sections are blacked out. But enough remains. Brenner reads his slowly. His sister writes that their town was bombed. Their mother is in the hospital. Food is scarce. The authorities promise victory, but everyone is tired. So tired. She does not say they are losing, but Brenner can read between the lines. Germany is not the invincible force he marched with. Germany is bleeding. Germany is running out of time. He folds the letter carefully. That night, he does not sleep. February 1945. The war is not over, but the direction is clear. Germany's Western Front is collapsing. Soviet forces are closing on Berlin. The 1,000-year Reich is entering its final months. Prisoners in British camps are given a choice. They can return to Germany after the war ends. Repatriation is guaranteed under international law. Or they can apply to stay in Britain, work, rebuild, make a new life in the country they once fought against. Most choose to return. Germany is still home. Whatever happened, whatever was lost, it is still home. Brenner stands at the fence line, the same spot where he stood 2 months after his arrival, and stares across the fields. Ashford is beside him. "You've been a good worker," the old man says. "Fair, honest. I could use the help. If you wanted to stay." Brenner does not respond immediately. His hands grip the wire. "I called your people uncivilized," he says quietly. Ashford nods. "I remember. I was wrong." The silence stretches. "My country," Brenner's voice cracks. "My country did terrible things. I see that now. I saw it before, but I did not let myself see it. And now I do not know if I can go back to a place built on that." Ashford says nothing. "I want to stay," Brenner whispers. The war ends in May. Brenner submits his application. It is approved. He works on Ashford's ranch for another 7 years. He learns English properly. He becomes part of the community. Though some locals never forgive him for wearing the uniform he wore, he does not blame them. When Ashford dies in 1952, Brenner is at his bedside. The old man's last words are about his sons. Both of them came home from the war, both of them alive. Brenner thinks about his own family. His sister survived. His mother did not. He thinks about the choices that led him here, to this room, this country, this life he never imagined. He does not know if he made the right choice, but he knows he could not have made any other. Outside, the fields stretch endlessly under a grey English sky. The fence line where he once stood is still there. He does not go near it anymore. There is no need. He is no longer the man who gripped that wire, torn between pride and realization. He is someone else now, someone who stayed. And the weight of that decision, the strange, quiet weight of choosing this over everything he once believed, never fully leaves him. It simply becomes part of who he is. A German prisoner who saw his enemy up close and could not hate them anymore.